What is up, YouTube? MK40 here. I want to know where all of these Gren Maju decks are coming from and why have they started to show up now of all like formats. Like, this is interesting. So we're going to be covering a couple of interesting decks that I've seen kind of come out of some formats, and this is piloted by Christopher Steiner, made top 4 at the Card Market series tournament, and this really kind of caught my attention because Gren Maju has gotten 2 mentions recently, and I don't know if this is just an abnormality or what, but I mean, I guess Gizmek just really does a lot. So if this card is in your hand or graveyard, quick effect, banish 8 cards from the top of your deck face down and special summon this card. Enjoy that huge boost to your homie. So you get to put a 2450 on the body or on the board, and then obviously that's a quick effect. And then during the next turn, you can banish 3 face down from your extra deck, target a face of monster on the field and destroy it. This plus Gren Maju is going to be essentially OTK, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, just being honest with you guys. So we have 3 copies of Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentine Sky Slasher. And we have triple copies of Gren Maju Diaiza. Just, this is your OTK card. You literally slap this on the field off of a normal summon. Or you can be cheeky and set this and watch your opponent ram into it. Because, you know, you can do that in this deck. And then we need to slow down the game a little bit. So we play triple copies of Inspector Border. Generically denying the opponent any sort of effects will probably win you a game. Inspect Border has definitely been gaining a lot of popularity. As of late, you've seen True Draco maxing out on this for a while now. It's great, but oh, here we are. And we have triple copies of Gamma and 1 driver. Now that Lambda's kind of reached the TCG, we started to abuse this more because, you know, being able to just make this and then add a Cyframe card from your deck to your hand during the end phase, yeah, as long as you got one of those guys banished, it's free value. Also being able to, you know, use a Gamma if you top deck it is honestly the real thing that we care about here. Now, spells, we're packing generic draw power, but of course, triple copies of Desires, 2 copies of Duality, and triple copies of Pot of Extravagance. One thing to know about this deck is, yes, these do conflict, but you're not hypothetically going to see these. Also, Extravagance kind of packs more value. You have to remember you're a bit more of a slower stun-based deck. You're trying to play the game in a way that allows you to kind of capitalize off of the opponent and put yourself in a position that, well, you know, attempt to win you the game. And in order to do that, you need as much draw power as you can physically fit into a deck. Traps, we have triple copies of Compulse, triple copies of Crackdown, triple copies of Infinite Permanence, triple copies of Solemn Judgment, triple Solemn Strike, 1 Warning, and triple copies of There Can Only Be One. Talk about a stun deck nightmare, ladies and gentlemen, but man, I love this. I love the grind game that it's able to put out. It's nuts to me. And then side deck here, they're extra. We have 2 copies of Hayate, 2 copies of Lambda, 2 copies of Dingrisu. I mean, these are all just kind of, you steal something off of a key piece here, you're just able to stack on top of it. 1 Omega, triple copies of Starving Venom, 2 Violet Chimera, 1 Mudragon, and 2 Diplexer Chimera. Side deck here, we have triple Prankatops, triple copies of Phantasmi, triple Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit, triple Super Polymerization, and triple copies of Twin Twister. Wrapping up this list. You see, like, you hear the question mark there because I'm both intrigued and disgusted with this because this is awesome. It definitely has caught my interest, and I don't know, I'm curious to see what more we kind of get out of this. So just the little things count. Now we have a salad list coming out of the CMS Frankfurt top 8 piloted by Sebastian, and this we know that Salad is still a deck. A lot of players were like, oh, 1 Gazelle, 1 Circle, not touching this deck. And even locally, a lot of players were like, I didn't want to touch Signet Minings. Well, yeah, don't worry, because for some reason we're playing Sea Archiver. So if a monster is normal or special summon to a zone, a link monster points to, you can special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the summon resolved, or hand even if it's not, but banish it when it leaves the field. Somebody say Extender, also Cybers, by the way. So you just dump it on into the graveyard. It can normal summon search. It's pretty interesting. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom, Enjoy Spring, 1 copy of Backup Secretary. This is something that we've I've heard tale about. It's interesting. So if you control a Cyber's monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. It's literally all it is. You're using this as a combo extender to set up for more plays. Also, it's Cyberse, so you're able to just continue to extend. It's so easy. Like, we're packing triple copies of Phantasme. Depending on everything that you kind of play through in certain matchups, this card is still good, especially against Sky Striker. Triple copies of the Flame Buffalero. Standard discard Cyberse. Draw 2, I mean, you have more Cyberse targets now. I guess that's a good thing, right? We have triple copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, 1 copy of the Salamangreat Falco, 1 copy of the Fowl, 0 copies of Foxy. Foxy's value has just gotten a whole lot better. It's kind of funny, actually. Like, kudos to this card. We have 1 copy of Gazelle, 1 copy of the Jack Jaguar. I think there was talk about players wanting to try playing more than 1 Jack Jaguar for the format. I haven't seen any change from that, actually. Of course, triple Spinny and the 2 copies of the Sea Archiver. Spells, we have 2 Called by the Grave, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, triple copies of Signet Mining, but of course, I mean, why would we not play our best search card? 1 Circle, 1 Sanctuary, triple Imperm, 2 copies of the Rage, and the 1 copy of the Roar. Down here in the extra deck, we have the 1 Update Jammer and the 1 Transcode Talk, So the thing with these cards is, these allow you to basically OTK your opponent. And people are like, oh, why would I play that? Well, it showed up once, and Backup Secretary Sea Archiver can extend to these plays and make these a lot easier for you to put on the board. But this did come up at a YCS last format, and people just... It won, did it not? And then it just disappeared off the face of the planet. But the deck can still do it. Of course, triple copies of Sunlight Wolf, 2 copies of Helium, triple copies of the Balinix, 1 Phoenix and the 1 Ablaze, 2 copies of the Mirage Dahlia and the 1 Abyss Dweller. This card's so good right now. And we have triple copies of Lancia, 2 copies of DD Crow, triple Prankatops, 2 Effect Veiler, 1 Cosmic, 1 Pure Order, and triple copies of Red Reboot. Because you smell those Altergeist players kind of sitting around in the room, and you're like, I know you're here. Ever since this card just got dropped out of side decks, Altergeist just walked back up and started doing things. I think we're going to be in a format now that we're not going to not see this in sides. You know what I mean? And then last but not least, I believe this list did relatively well at the same tournament coming out of this past weekend. And this one caught my interest because, okay, this got 3rd place. That is Carter Demise in Sky Striker. And you guys saw me piloting a list earlier in the month. Pretty much trying Carter Demise, some other crazy stuff like set rotation and things like that. But, you know, you don't have to do battle damage. You know, turn 1, you can also, you know, give up your search and just normal summon the Ray. You know, you've got options available to you. But recovery plays and things like that for this deck, we now have access to. Think about that. So, 3rd place, piloted by a Oliver L. So we have triple copies of Sky Striker Ray, triple copies of Card of Demise, 2 copies of the Foolish Brittle Goods and the 1 Metal Ghost Fusion, triple copies of MST. This one's kind of interesting. I've seen a lot of talk about just playing 2, but 3 is pretty okay. It was this and Cosmic have been a lot of debate, but I mean, Cosmic doesn't start your combo. 2 Desires for more draw power, 1 Rhoda, triple copies of Area Zero, 1 Afterburners, the 1 Jamming Waves, the 1 Eagle Booster, the 1 Hornet Drones, 2 copies of Shark Cannon, triple copies of Widow Anchor, 1 Multi-Roll, 1 Hercules Base, 2 Engage, 1 Terraforming, and the 1 copy of the Upstart Goblin. Then we have triple Imperm and triple copies of There Could Only Be One. In 6 traps, by the way. Interesting to see these in the main. Extra deck down here, we have 1 Topological Bomber Dragon, triple copies of Shizu, 2 copies of Kaina, 1 Kagari, triple Hayate, 1 Ningrisu, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Serbi, 1 Ablaze, and the 1 Boral Sword. Interesting to note, Cerberus popping up here in this No Nightmare Unicorn, actually. Side deck, we have triple copies of Artifact Lancia, triple Sphere Mode, triple Mystic Mine. So if I'm not playing Mystic Mine in the main deck, does this mean that maybe we should side it? Because I think for every deck profile I've seen so far, people have talked about that this card just isn't as good as it was. Like, the card's degenerate. Like, the things it does just, I don't know, kind of fall on the side. Triple Twin Twister and triple copies of Heavy Storm Duster, wrapping up these deck profiles. Now, like I said, a lot of interesting stuff kind of coming out of the format right now. It's not a bad thing. It's good to see that things are being shaken up, players are trying new ideas, And, you know, we'll have to wait and see where the format goes, because we're still developing, and that's not a bad thing, guys. Please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think about these decks. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanco40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.